We're going to open up the City Council meeting for City of Columbus. The date is March 11th, 2026 at 6 p.m. And the first thing on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance.
Recording in progress.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda.
This is Scott. I move to adopt the agenda for the March 11th, 2026 City Council meeting.
Rob, I'll second.
Got a motion on the floor. It's been seconded. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Scott?
Scott, aye.
Rob, aye.
And Ron, aye. The motion passes. We'll go on to consent agenda. I'll make the motion, or let's, Bob, you want to make the motion?
Oh, we approved the agenda, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Scott, I'll second.
And we got a motion on the floor. It's been seconded. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Scott?
Scott, aye.
Rob, aye.
And the motion passes. We'll go to the item number C, presentations and items for council action. First item is public forum. Is there anybody in the audience? I see nobody out there. Anybody online that would like to speak to the council? Hearing none, we'll close that public forum. We'll go on to item number 2, Dimke addition preliminary and final plat, 14328 Lake Drive.
The city has received an application from Dimke Holdings, LLC, for a preliminary and final plat to be known as Dimke Addition, located at 14328 Lake Drive, Columbus, Minnesota. The property is legally described as portions of Lot C2, Lot C3, Wills Addition, in Notre County. The request proposes combining two existing parcels of approximately 2.43 and 8.25 acres into one new lot totaling 10.68 acres. No increase in density or new public streets are proposed. The property is zoned light commercial industrial, and the existing single-family structure on the property constitutes a legal non-conforming use, as residential use is not permitted as a principal use within the light industrial commercial district. The applicant has indicated future plans to remove the existing residential structure and pursue a use consistent with the light commercial industrial district. Any future commercial industrial use of the property shall be required to comply with all applicable zoning standards and may require approval of a conditional use permit and site plan review at the time of the application. Approval of the preliminary and final plat does not expand, intensify, extend, or otherwise modify the legal status of the existing non-conforming residential use. Any continuation, alteration, reconstruction, or removal of this structure shall remain subject to the non-conforming use provisions of Chapter 7A of the City Code. This property has existing access onto Anoka County State Aid Highway 23. Any future relocation, reconstruction, widening, reconfiguration, intensification, or additional access shall require review and written approval by the Anoka County Highway Department. Plat approval does not authorize the modification of the county access. Standard drainage and utility units are included on the preliminary drawings. The property contains wetlands and/or areas subject to regulation by the Rice Creek Watershed District. Satisfactory reviews by the city engineer, city attorney, and Anoka County surveyor will be required prior to releasing the plat for recording. Notice of public hearing was submitted to the Forest Lake Times on February 12, 2026, and published February 19, 2026, and posted February 12, 2026. The Planning Commission held a duly noticed public hearing on March 4, 2026 regarding this proposal. The Planning Commission held a public hearing where no public comments were received. Its conclusions approved the findings of fact, made a recommendation of conditional approval to the City Council. The City Council should consider affirming the Planning Commission's findings of fact and make conditional approval of the preliminary and final plat of the Dimke addition, subject to the recommended conditions. conditions listed in your staff report in your packet.
Well, I think a lot of us were at the planning commission during that hearing. Anybody have any discussion on this?
This is Scott. I just have a question. I know just prior to the council meeting, I asked council if there were any conditional use permits on either one of those properties prior to the plat, if it would carry over. And I believe the answer was yes.
The answer is yes, in particular in this scenario. But what I would say is that, for example, if this property was being subdivided and not combined, oftentimes the conditions of approval of a conditional use permit will require certain setbacks or location of a drain field or other supplemental conditions that are associated with the underlying use. So long as the newly platted property can continue to comply with all of those site plan conditions, the conditional use permit will transfer with the property.
Okay.
And then lastly on that, in the event that there's a conditional use permit for something the property will no longer be able to be used for, after a period of non-use, that conditional use permit also can be removed from title.
Okay. Thank you for that. That was a good education piece. And then my question to city staff then is do we know if there's any current conditional use permit on either one of the properties?
It was not noted in any of the investigations on this, and that's why it was mentioned that if the existing structure on there is to be used, it'll have to be a CUP approved for it.
After the plat?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Rob?
Jack, Jenny was trying to get let in on virtual. And then as far as this Dimke thing goes, we didn't have to, I wasn't at the planning commission or listen to it. Did we have to make any variances for them, or did that fall within the use after our rezoning of Lake Drive? Did that still fall far enough south to avoid that change that we made? Remember, we were zoned that like heavy and light, and on both sides of Lake Drive, there was quite a bit of talk around that, and truck traffic and things of that nature, trying to avoid that.
Interestingly enough, the property immediately adjacent to this one and just to the north of it is zoned residential.
Okay,
This fell within those requirements.
okay. I just wanted to verify that there was no variance that had to happen there, so. And then, did they say, I mean, it's still early, right? It's just the plot, but did they say how many vehicles come and going throughout a day?
I don't believe they even said what it's going to be.
Sure, they're just trying to plot it, so we got a long ways to go before a final plan approval, right? Okay,
Yeah, that will be determined when they determine what their use is going to be on that, but right now it's vacant. And when they decide what they're going to do with the building, then that's when we'll give them a site plan review and we can issue CUP going forward with that.
so through some pre-plan review, it sounds like it's an excavating company that's coming in there, so something like North Pines, so,
Yeah.
yep. But, okay.
Any other discussion? Karen?
This is Karen, and just one other question. It says here that the removal of the existing residential structure will happen in the future. Do we have any time frame on when that'll be?
No, we don't.
Okay. And so this will actually put the two parcels together as one
Correct.
tax ID number, correct?
Yes, it's essentially a plat that's a lot combination.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
No, Mayor.
Well, with that, I'll make a motion. I, Ron Hanegraaff, move to conditionally approve the preliminary and final plat of the Dimke Edition, 14328 Lake Drive, subject to recommended conditions and any outstanding comments from project reviewers.
Scott, I'll second.
We've got a motion on the floor. It's been seconded. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. Scott?
Scott, aye.
And I,
Rob, aye.
And Ron, aye.
Got Jenny online now.
And Jenny, you out there?
Yes, and Jenny, aye.
Thank you. Unanimously voted. On to the next item, number 3, Notre Dame Street Mill and Overlay Project.
Pursuant to city council directions, plans and specifications have been prepared for the Notre Dame Mill and Overlay Project. The plans include base bid for the milling and overlay, the existing pavement surface and realignment of the intersection with Kettle River Boulevard, and two bid alternates. Alternate one provides for the paving of the Columbus Park parking lot. Alternate bid two provides for the reclaiming and paving of the City Hall parking lot and relocation of the driveway entrance. Staff recommends the City Council consider approval of the plans and authorize the advertisement and collection of the bids for the project. Council may wish to postpone the consideration of bid alternate number two until a decision is made as to the renovation or new construction options for City Hall. So we would still recommend leaving that in as an alternate bid so we can see what the cost is. But if we left it in, that also includes that entrance, the new entrance to the City Hall. We'd have to probably do that as a change order.
Yes, that could be done as a change order, yes.
So the only thing our comment was is that when we get the bids back in, we can take a look at them, but we may want to consider postponing that until we get to some decision on what we're going to do with this building or a new building and actually where it's going to be located.
So when we make this turn on Notre Dame, we're going across the street to City Hall here. That's all combined as one. That isn't, when we talk about paving the parking lot over City Hall, that isn't included in that. I mean, in other words, that would be, they'd make that road all the way to that point paved and then it would stop.
Correct.
Am I clear there, Brian?
Then the City Hall parking lot driveway approach, if you want that relocated, we can do that as a change order without having to award the bid alternate number two, if you don't want to award the bid alternate number two. If you want to relocate that driveway, right now, the base bid is to leave the City Hall driveway where it is and just deal with the Kettle River realignment on the west side or north side of the Kettle River Road there. So
that's not in the project of Notre Dame then?
to relocate the City Hall driveway?
Right. Yeah.
No, that's with the City Hall driveway, with the City Hall repaving parking lot. Yep, that's in bid alternate number two, is relocating the City Hall driveway. But if you wanted to relocate it, we can do it as a change order with the base bid.
I'm just wondering if would it be cheaper to have it all, I mean, if they're making the turn and they got all the equipment there, wouldn't it be right to do the other side?
Sure, yes. Yeah, there will be some cost efficiencies there. But then again, I don't know with your City Hall plans, if that's going to require an adjustment to the driveway location, I don't know. So.
I personally think this alignment here is really best.
Okay.
Here's the realignment of Notre Dame coming in from north to south. And this shows how this curve transitions through a perpendicular intersection. At this point, directly across the street would be a new entrance to be constructed to City Hall, the fire station. And it will align directly opposite the new extension of Notre Dame tie-in.
So the only thing I would, like Brian's kind of talking, is we don't know what we're going to do there, right? We might come up with a plan that we want to use this building and then continue the building along the frontage, along the road, right? To create a new office space. It's kind of in my head, I'm thinking how they might design it. Well, now you're going to have an entrance right into the building, right? And it might not be, I don't know.
Well, I was just looking at, it almost like you'd want to have the four-way intersection right where we plan to put it.
Yeah.
I don't see the building going that far out, is it? I seen you guys out there one day, you and Brian and Jim out there looking at it. So when you make that turn and you cut across Kettle River, tee up on the other side, that's a pretty good distance away, isn't it?
If you look, let me see if I can get this down here a little bit more.
I mean, the way the bid comes in right now, if I'm right, Brian, they're just going to do Notre Dame to Kettle River and stop.
Correct.
Then anybody that comes on Notre Dame to get to City Hall would have to take a right and then make a
Then
quick
left.
left.
That's correct.
Otherwise, why don't we do it all at once? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
And Mayor, maybe to your point, we have them, and Brian, if this is an option, to have them bid number one, but also bid number two as an addition, like an extra. So it isn't a change order, because in my experience, typically a change order is quite costly, right? Because they know they got you, you're here. In my personal experience, they know we're here, we got equipment on site, we're going to inflate our bid.
So how hard would it be, Brian, to just add that
To the base
driveway
bid?
as part of Notre Dame?
Sure.
And we pave it in a little ways, and if
Yeah.
we put a building there and we gotta tear it out, who cares?
Yeah.
We've taken care of our issue at this point. It's lined up the way we're looking to have it done, and it's just part of the bid.
And we're not paving the parking lot at that point
We're
then?
not paving the parking lot.
Okay.
Ending, yeah.
Part of Notre Dame would be the approach in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the realignment, and at that point in my head, the removal of the old.
Yes.
And then they can still bid the alternate minus that approach because it's part of the
In
bid.
the base bid.
And then we know what that price is. And, you know, if we figure out what we're doing with the building before then, we could pave it, or it's just a budget item and we kind of have an idea of what cost is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but at the same time, we'd leave this other one open, the other driveway that we have, right?
I would take it.
Demo it.
Take it out.
Take it out while we're doing the other one.
Yes. One goes in, the other one comes out.
Right.
Because you got the equipment there.
Yeah.
Well, whatever, that's what I couldn't figure out if it was all in one or the other.
Ultimately, paving the parking lot can be part of the City Hall project too, can it?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes, it could.
I think
Or another paving project, right?
Yep.
It might not be right across the street, but it might be right down the road. So,
I think when we get the bids in, we can see, and then we can tweak this thing too, but probably the best thing to do, as you suggested, would be to make the new driveway part of the base bid.
Yeah.
And separate that out of the City Hall parking lot bid.
Right.
We can do that.
We can do that? Good.
Mayor, I have a question. I almost hate to ask, but I feel compelled to. So when we're talking about paving the parking lot for the park, right now, when we have large events like softball events and stuff, parking is a huge problem. And with the dirt parking lot, I'm assuming if we're paving it, we're then striping it.
Correct.
So right now, we can get pretty creative in our parking out there. I'm going to assume we're going to lose parking spots when we start putting lines down on pavement. And we're going to have a lot, well, I think even some of those events we're already parking over at City Hall. And now that we're realigning the entrance to City Hall, I know there's no crosswalk out there, and I would guess that's a county issue. And when we have Fall Fest, we have the Sheriff's Department out there, have the temporary crosswalk, but there's a sign out there that says no crossing here. Have we thought about that? Because we may have increased pedestrian traffic crossing the road there. And now we have a 4-corner, basically 90-degree intersection we're dealing with.
Trying to figure out where you're going with it. I mean, just throw a crosswalk in it, or first you start with the parking lot, and I'm kind of,
Well, we're going to lose parking spaces, right?
I
So
don't-
people are,
I don't think we will, I don't know. I counted them in
I
there.
think that will be a wash. Normally, when you stripe a lot, you make the parking more efficient. You may actually lose a space or two, as it is opposed to when there's no striping, because people tend to leave bigger gaps between the next car. That's not a big lot anyway. If we lost 2 spaces, it probably wouldn't make any difference. But I think on things like the big tournament they have there in June,
yeah.
you know, where we may have 500 cars here that day, it's just every man for himself the way it is to find a place to park. And this lot over here will be used quite extensively. As far as the crosswalk goes, we could all contact Anoka County to see if we can get one in there. It may be just something striped and a sign, but that would be better than what we've got.
I'd probably tell you the truth, that it'd probably be easier or more safer having a four-way intersection with a crosswalk with cars coming.
That was my point.
I think that
Since
was-
we're doing
Yeah.
the four-way intersection, can we put a crosswalk in there?
But there was, I think I counted 34 parking spots they have in there. And the deal, and the striping came along with it, wasn't it like $1,000 or something for the striping?
I don't remember.
I mean, that was all estimates, right, Brian?
Right. I just counted, there's 44 parking stalls plus 2 handicap. So there's 46 total parking striped on the,
Kind of normal, everyday uses by far and enough. I mean, there's plenty. But it's when we have those heavy use days.
Well, they even park on Notre Dame right next to no parking signs.
Yeah.
And then I think they get real creative and they start going down the dirt road behind the park, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I
So
remember.
this is Jenny. Can we ask Plat for, their opinion if you really want to consider the crosswalk? Would they maybe have some advice because they do have a lot of people that would be crossing the road and using the parking lot across the street? Maybe that would be something the park board could ask them if they feel that would be necessary.
Yeah, that could be brought up, Jenny. Another thing, when they have that tournament going on, we got one field over here they're using too.
Yeah.
So they're using the one by the maintenance building. So,
They might leave, like to your point, Ron, they might leave their car parked on the other side knowing they can't get another parking spot.
right.
Shuffle across the road, right?
Well, we got a park board meeting coming up, but we got to make a decision today to get the bids out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So any other discussion on this?
I have one question. Has the city contacted the resident across the street? Maybe I missed that, but the resident said their driveway is going to be extended if we do make this change,
Yes, we have.
and they were comfortable with the change.
Yes. So we
Okay, thank you.
reached out with a letter to the resident, and then the resident came over to City Hall, and I happened to be here, so I walked over to his house and we talked it all through, and he's good.
Perfect. Thank you, Jim.
You're welcome.
Any other discussion on it? It's just bids. We're not. But we're going to change that one, right?
yep, we'll change the base bid to
Oh,
include the
great.
City Hall
Well,
drive.
I'll make a motion. I, Ron Hanegraaff, move to approve the project plans and authorize the advertisement and taking of bids for the Notre Dame Street Mill and Overlay project base and alternative bids 1 and 2.
It's Rob, I'll second.
Got a motion on the floor. It's been seconded. Any other discussion from the council? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. So we'll go with Scott.
Just for clarification, are we doing both alternate bids then, and we are paving the City Hall parking lot?
We're taking bids. We're not,
We can select
Okay.
1 or 2 or both 1 and 2.
Okay. Scott, aye.
And I,
Rob, aye.
Jenny, I.
and Ron, aye. The motion passes unanimously. We'll go on to item number D. City engineers report.
Hey, Mayor, the only item I was going to report is AET, the boring company was out on the well site, or excuse me, the tower site on Monday. They had called and said they were going to be there, and then they thought they'd wrap up on Tuesday. And so I believe they've got what they need, and now they need to run the tests on the materials, and then they'll give us a report when they're done. Sounds like the clay test that they have to do is a compression test. That takes a little bit of time, but he said, we'll give you all the information as we generate it, and, so you'll get it as soon as they can make it available to us, so.
Okay. Brian, I think you told us before, is I see they got signs east of us on 97 now, detour signs and big lighted. Are they going to do that one first before they do Hornsby, Washington County?
So maybe Jim knows more about 97 project.
Mr. Mayor and Council, the 97 project, I just had a meeting today and we're kind of working on what I'm going to call traffic control so we don't run into what we did last year. But they're looking at starting that project relatively soon.
Well, I just seen today that they got some big lights out there. They're getting ready to do something. But I thought that, Ryan, I thought you had told us that they're going to do that one first Because it's Forest Lake Contracting got both bids, the way I was told. And they were going to do that one and then move over to,
Well, the timing on, and I'm just going to throw out some dates, and obviously everything is subject to change and weather dependent, right? They're looking at starting at the end of this month or the 1st of April on 97, and that's supposed to go till October. So they'll be working on them both at the same time at that point because they won't, there's no time after October to start another project. And I would assume the Hornsby project, they're going to have to do that surcharge because they didn't get that last year. So they'll put that down. And we haven't talked about this project, but I'm sure they'll do that surcharge, and then there'll be probably some other small work, but they won't be able to do much of anything till that surcharge is what they've figured compressed.
thank you. I just seen all this heavy equipment stuff getting moved down there.
Yeah, they've been cutting trees and pulling everything, getting equipment in there.
Well, at least they can make it the easy, quick trip.
Yeah.
But we shouldn't have a lot of traffic, should we?
Most of that traffic will probably go through by Quick Trip. And as per the discussion today, they're going to add a bunch of 3-way, 4-way stops in there to try to slow the traffic down. But we're all figuring that that's where the vast majority of the traffic we had last year will end up by Quick Trip this year.
It'll be a Forest Lake problem.
Yes.
Good. Is that it, Brian? Thank you. City Attorney, Megan?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of council, very limited update this evening. Just wanted to flag for you that we are still looking for a date to meet with your legislators at the Capitol. And so we are projecting an April date in particular because bonding will be well underway then, and that's one of your legislative priorities. So if you have any conflicts of time within April that you know you're going to be out of town or otherwise unavailable, and you desire to attend those meetings, if you could flag me down after the meeting tonight and let me know, I'll add those to our calendar, but otherwise, that's my update. Legislative session is well underway.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the invite. We'll go to mayor and city council reports. Scott, do you have anything?
No report tonight. Thank you, Mayor.
And Karen?
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Rob?
Same, no report, Mayor.
Jenny?
This is Jenny. The only update I have is that we had our initial or kickoff Fall Fest meeting last night on March 10th. We just basically just kind of got the framework together, looking at no major changes for this year, not planning for a movie. Actually, that is the development team not planning for a movie because the last few years have been canceled or have low turnout. But beyond that, I will keep everyone updated as we go.
Thank you, Jenny. Excuse me. And I have nothing, but we'll go on to item number 4, the EDA report. We have a meeting coming up, if I'm right, Jenny. When's that coming up, Jack? I gotta get my book here.
It's in April.
Oh, is it?
I think it's the week before the Columbus event.
Okay. Right. And we talked about we talked about us serving invitations as a council.
Yeah.
We did. We've all understood that then. Okay, so we should get that rolling then probably by next council meeting. Get some. The next thing is the park board report. We'll have a park board meeting on March 24th, so I have nothing to report there. Then we'll go to item number 6, Jenny, the planning commission report.
All right, this is Jenny. Planning Commission had a few updates. Dimke Holdings we already covered, so I don't need to brief you on that. But that was covered and approved by the Planning Commission unanimously. We also had urban companies. Urban companies applied for a conditional use permit to operate a contractor shop and yard at a property on Lake Drive adjacent to MU&E. And so one resident did voice a concern, and so that was held over. Resident basically had concerns about, in the past, the current owner had parked on their property. They're worried about noise and things like that. One promising note was that the future potential owner doesn't want to really remove any trees or foliage. They're wanting to kind of keep that protected nature and park kind of in, because they would use it mainly as as a yard. And so that was really the only thing, but it will be held over until the next planning commission meeting, which will be this next week, March 18th. The last item was Fishing for Life presented a concept plan for a property on Lake Drive that currently sells agricultural goods known as the Troutmonger. And so Fishing for Life is a nonprofit established in, I believe, 2004. They are wanting to potentially buy that property, and they have some creative ideas for what they're looking for with that property. They are religiously affiliated. They do have their faith-based program. And so zoning is potentially an issue there. And so there are some questions related to that. It was only a concept plan. But they are potentially wanting to turn that into a campground as well, or have kind of camping events and build a bunk house. So they had a lot of ideas and a lot kind of going on with their presentation. And so there will be more information from that. The Planning Commission really appreciated that they had youth-based programs and were supportive of veterans as well. And so really from what that was, the Planning Commission did have a lot of support for that. But in terms of some of the questions that linger around this being a residential and agricultural property with a business on it, there were just some questions there that will need to be reviewed as well. And I know that the city and city staff are working on that. So the only other thing was that Assistant Administrator Byrd requested that the City Council going forward do give the Planning Commission members a report back on their work. So things that we're updating like Dimke properties or the Dimke change that we made today for the two properties into one. I will report that back at next week's meeting and just give them an updates on the work they're doing to kind of also give them some perspective on the work that they're doing. So we will work. So for those of you going forward and whoever is the next quarter, we'll be doing that every Planning Commission meeting as well. And that is all I have.
Well, thank you, Jenny. That was a pretty busy night.
Very busy night.
We had a lot of people there, yeah. We'll go on to the next item, which would be the item number 7, Public Works Report. Jim?
Mr. Mayor and Council, I have one thing for you tonight. In 2027, we are going to start the roundabout project that will close a portion of Camp 3, and the council agreed to also use a portion of Camp 3 as a detour route. One of the contingencies that you guys talked about was not having that as a truck route. So what I'm asking tonight is, would you guys consider making that a no truck route this year? And my hopes would be that that would take set and people would realize that it's not a truck route and eliminate some issues for us next year. And with that thought process also, once that roundabout went in, I was going to ask you guys to make the portion between Potomac and Kettle River a no truck route anyways. So I'm trying to get ahead of the game to make the roundabout project a little better and just deter some of the truck traffic earlier than later.
Are you signing this like we do on Howard Lake?
It would.
Great job.
So it would be part of our ordinance. So what I would look for tonight is you guys to say, yes, we're in agreement with that. Between Jack, Aaron, and I, we would update the ordinance and we would bring that back. That would have to go out and have a little bit of legwork done, but it would be just like a portion of 181st, I believe, is a no truck route. We have Howard Lake is a no truck route, and Zurich Street is a no truck route. So it would be the same as those. Same criteria, same signage, everything would be the same.
We have to have a public hearing on that?
Yes.
Yes.
And as far as the ordinance goes, those are listed in the ordinance. This street would just be added to that is the ones that are no truck routes. If you look on the map, it just kind of shows you the area we're talking about. So we'd also put it on the existing portion between Kettle River and Lake Drive at the corner there where the Mileses live. And then when this project's done, that will not be through. There'll be a cul-de-sac on that. But we think this may get people a little bit more used to the fact that it is a no truck route and have less issues with it once the project starts.
So this is Rob, just looking for a clarification. So next year then, when that project goes, will it still be a no truck route?
Correct.
Okay.
So we're posting it as a
Okay.
no truck route.
Ahead of time.
And ultimately, next year, it'll be a no truck route from here on out.
Yeah.
So for that project next year, then that would make it really easy for us to say that you have to detour trucks in a different area. I did have conversations with Anoka County and told them that this is what my intentions were, and they were fine. So
That's some great artwork.
I didn't do that. That's Jack artwork there.
You do that, Jack?
Looks like John Madden.
Except it doesn't look like a turkey leg.
Right.
Well, I don't see any problem. Anybody else?
No, I'm good with it.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah. How about you, Jenny?
I think it sounds good.
Okay, so with that direction, then I'm going to order some signs, so I have them. And then we'll do the appropriate paperwork, and once we're done with that, then we'll bring it back for city council approval. With that, that's all I have.
Thank you. Thank you, Jim. We'll go on to Jack.
I've just got one thing. Back in December, we talked with Forest Lake Cable Commission. They were having some problems with somebody doing their bookkeeping and basic accounting work. The city of Scandia had previously done that, but they said they were not going to provide that service anymore. So we agreed to do it on a 3-month basis to see how that worked out. Unfortunately, it's being more work than we anticipated, and with the workload we currently have, I just don't think we have the capacity to handle that. There's so many things in their system that need to be cleaned up and changed. It's taking Cheryl a lot longer than we anticipated to complete those basic services. We've had a couple meetings. We had a meeting with Scott, and is Renee their attorney?
No, she's the chair.
She's the chair of the commission. And she was supposed to get back to us on some things that we had found that need to be corrected before we could even continue to do it. And we haven't heard anything back from her. So at the next meeting, I'll probably have a recommendation and a proposal for us to conclude that service with them.
Well, at least we tried.
Yep.
Anything else, Jack?
That's it.
Oh, quick night here. We'll go on to announcements and reminders. Planning Commission meeting is March 18th, 2026. Park Board meeting is March 24th, 2026 at 5:30 p.m. City Council regular meeting, March 25th, 2026 at 6 p.m. And the Local Board of Appeals and Equalization is April 20th, 2026 at 5:30 p.m. Anybody want to make a motion to adjourn?
This is Karen. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Anybody want to second it?
That's Jenny, a second.
Thank you, Jenny. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. Scott?
Scott, aye.
Karen, aye.
Rob, aye.
Jenny, aye.
And Ron, aye.